Hello everyone, today I will be talking about the game I chose for the Game 160 and final project, Sid Meier's Civilization. Rather than talking about any one game in the series, I will be discussing the entire franchise as a whole, simply because I believe that without talking about this entire franchise as a whole, we are unable to adequately discuss the impact that the franchise has had, as well as its potential ramifications in the field of education. The topics we will be discussing today include why Sid Meier's Civilization has achieved such success and influence in the video game community, what impact it has had in the strategy game genre and beyond, why it's suitable for use in an educational setting, more specifically a history classroom, and where this video game franchise will be going in the future. First of all, let me give you a brief history of Civilization. Civilization was initially developed by video game programmer Sid Meier, who had just left his video game studio, Micropose, because of some creative differences he had with his co-founders. However, even after he left, he was still providing Micropose with games on a private contractual basis. He would receive a small commission in return for games he successfully programmed for Micropulse, as well as a percentage of the sales. He had just finished his successful railroad simulator, Sid Meier's Railroad Tycoon, and was looking for a new project to work on. He was intrigued by the exploration system found in Empire, a popular turn-based war game at the time, and wanted to apply that to a large-scale epic strategy game, which he envisioned as covering the entire history of Civilization up until the present day. He began work on Civilization on his own time in early 1990, initially having his close friend Bruce Shelley test and provide feedback on prototypes that he would use to improve and iterate daily. He would submit his prototypes to his friend Bruce Shelley every evening on a floppy disk. His friend Bruce would then test it that evening and give him feedback, which he would use to then iterate upon the game the next day and deliver yet another prototype. This model worked very well because at the time, this type of game was very easy to develop and could be achieved by one person. In fact, in the initial version of Civilization, most of the artwork and mechanics were done solely by Sid Meier himself. Civilization aimed to be a game that allowed the player to play through human history as the leader of a civilization, integrating new concepts such as different scientific technologies that the player could unlock, as well as an initially hidden map that the player would explore as the game went on, that would reveal different resources and other civilizations as the game progresses. It was a new foray into the realm of strategy-based games at the time, because this was a game that was at a scale in which explored different features that have never been seen before. However, this new innovation came with some downsides. Even as he iterated, he faced challenges pitching the game to his game studio, Micropose, and his co-founder, who was still leading the company, had strong doubts about the ability of the game to succeed, because the game studio had succeeded on the back of flight simulators, railroad simulators, and other similar games, which it held as a quote-unquote tried and true strategy. And because of this, the co-founder was more preferred to lean more towards what had already been tried and was successful, including railroad simulators, flight simulators, war simulators, and other similar games. However, Sid Meier eventually convinced Micropose to give Civilization a shot, and Civilization was finally released in early 1991 alongside Micropose's other two games that year.